Hi, this is Graham, and today I'm changing the driver's side front suspension on a Fiat Multipla. Here is our beautiful Fiat Multipla. There's Ruben, my 15-year-old son, just starting off by jacking it up, loosening off wheel nuts and all that stuff. We'll be working both in the wheel well, and at the top here you can see there's 3 bolts that hold it in. For this job we'll need a variety of things, all the spanners and sockets from 13 up to about 19mm, obviously jacks and axle stands, spring compressors. We've got the Dremel ready in case we have to cut any nuts and bolts off, mole grips, all the usual stuff you need really for working on a car. Obviously being Italian, everything's in metric. I'll just give you a few shots of it because, you know, Multiplas are beautiful things. Anyway, I'll pause it here, and when we've got the wheel off and we can see what we're doing, I will be back to you. Right, so now the wheel is off, we can see what we're dealing with. There's the suspension, which was marked up as an advisory on the MOT for being rusty. We've got 2 big bolts that hold the hub on about here. Those bolts are actually a bit starting to strip out their threads, so I've got brand new ones for that. We've got, around this side, you can just see I've got a drop link here. Moving point to the drop link. We've got a drop link here which has to come off. These things here just slide out and we can move the brackets later. Once we've done all that, we'll go up top, undo those 3 bolts, and the whole thing should come out. I think it's 15s and 17s, and we'll get started on those bottom ones. Right, here is Ruben undoing the bottom 2 bolts. We're just going to loosen them off. We want to kind of keep them in there, I think, but the threads are a bit stripped, so I just went on the internet before I started and bought some new bolts because they've got quite a high torque. And obviously they're actually holding the wheel on the car, so they're kind of useful. This is a good angle actually from here. You can see that tie rod as well, and that'll be coming off today as well. And but likewise we've got brand new tie rods to put on because basically all Multiplas I've ever driven tend to wallow a bit, so the more new suspension parts the better. Okay then, here are the 2 bolts. As you can see, the one on the left there, oh, I haven't got Ruben to point to it, hold on. You can see the thread on that has gone all shiny and there's actually bits of thread coming off it. And the one on the right we bought on the internet, it's exactly the same. Ruben, can you just point to that knackered bolt and we can show up like how the bits of thread are coming off it and everything. And given that these are actually literally holding the wheel, yeah look, there's a bit of thread just coming off. And as this is actually holding the wheel onto the car, and they have to be torqued up to 60 odd, 70 Newton meters. It's just, you know, for a couple of quid off the internet, and these ones are rated 8.8, so they're good for suspension. Show us the head of that bolt, Ruben. These are rated 8.8, they're good for suspension, they'll take the torque and they'll be on there. And if you can look, we definitely got the right ones, that's it, just tapped into place, it looks beautiful. Right, onward, drop link coming off next. Okay then, so we've put the jack under the hub to take the weight. We've got these bolts here have come off. We've got the top of the track rod off, and we did that properly with a hex key. The bottom is being stickier, so I want to take out this whole suspension mounting to get better access to the bottom of the track rod. So if we come up here, oh, carry on Ruben. We've got 3 bolts here, they were really tight. You're going to need a breaker bar. We ended up with a T-bar which we put the end of a, here it is. We got this old saddle stem from a bicycle and we just slotted it over a T-bar like that and gave it a bit of leverage, but you're going to need a breaker bar or something. There's 3 of them. I've got the back one out, I don't know if you can see a hole right back there, just past that locating peg. So we've got one of them out, you can see it just lying there. Ruben's getting the second one out, they're quite fine threaded and there's quite a lot of work on them. Once we've got those 3 out, we'll draw the entire suspension. This whole bit here will come out and forward and out the front of the car, but I'll try and video that because we need 2 people. Okay, so we've got these bottom 2 bolts are out. We've got the track rod nut is off, that's actually the only thing holding it all together now. With these 2 brackets here, we've cleared all the flexi brake pipes and the electrics out. Up top, there's absolutely nothing holding it, all 3 bolts have gone. It's a bit hard to see around here because of all the bonnet struts, but everything's gone. So hopefully, we're just trying to get, I'm sorry, it's very windy, it's going to break the microphone. We're just trying to get this one track rod out. We're going to replace the track rod, so I don't really mind how destructive we are to it. Obviously, if you're not going to replace your track rod, you need to be a bit more careful than this.
Can't lift it, that's as high as it'll go.
Okay, so everything is loose. We're now just trying to kind of basically get the track rod off. Ruben, hold the track rod in one hand and the suspension in the other and pull them apart. It will. That's it. You want to go mind that flexi brake hose. That's it. Tuck it around the bracket and under. That's it. That's it. It's going to go in a minute. I can just see it.
Now you have the suspension out.
Right, now just carry it out and away, Rubes, if you can manage the weight.
Of course I can. Oh, right, it's all resting on the wood I put there.
Right, so I'm sorry you didn't actually see that because we needed 2 sets of hands, but this is the whole unit that we're going to replace. You can see there, I mean look, that's obviously what the MOT man was complaining about, that level of rust in there. After lunch we're going to get spring compressors and get on with stripping that down and rebuilding up on a brand new unit. You can also see, as I hoped, in here now, hands out of the way, look at the much better access we've got to that track board in that we couldn't shift before. Okay, so here we are again, it's the morning now. As you can see, I've got the spring compressors fitted and absolutely beautiful. I've got a lovely shiny new one. Basically, I don't know how much this is going to be at the video, but all this stuff here, we get a new nut. But everything else, this cup, this rubber bit, everything, you see that's hand tight. Everything needs to just come off there and go onto there. The springs, the rubber bits at the bottom, that funny dust guard, the whole lot. So yeah, just get started. Now we watched somebody do this in a garage and he just literally did it one thing at a time, turned them upside down, and then he's ready to do them the other way. Now you can see here the spring compressors are really helping. Oh, that wasn't meant to happen. I think that comes out with this. Leave that on the spring, Ruben. That's the dust cap. Just get your fingers in there and straighten that out. And now we have actually crossed the point and we've started putting new stuff together, which is lovely. Can you lift the whole spring out now, Rubes? Now lift it out and set it to one side. Because there is, I think from what I saw, this is a kind of rubber. Just put it down a minute, Ruben, I might have to stop videoing. God, look at the amount of mud and rubbish on that. Don't want to split it, obviously. And you see where my thumb is, it's actually got an end stop there for the blunt end of the spring, so everything sits exactly right as Mr. Fiat intended. Mud and rubbish everywhere all over that. It's splitting and perishing a bit, but it's the best that we can do. Just trying to find the happy place where it sits. Look good to you, Ruben?
Yeah.
Right, we'll rebuild. We can rebuild it. Just leave that on there like it came with it.
There we go.
Where's that end up to the end stop? When we tighten it up, Ruben, it will probably all click into place. And then we just turn them over and put them on as they came off. Okay, so we had a lot of like cursing and swearing, but now, as you can see, we've got it all built up on the new shock. We're now just actually basically winding it up tighter. And yeah, I've only got a couple of threads on at the moment, but we can now use the power of turning to put it on. Okay then, so as you can see, we've got everything set up. Ruben here is very ably just winding that nut down. I'm not sure we got, I think especially that spring compressor on the right could have had a couple more coils on it. So in essence, with that massive 18mm spanner, Ruben is doing quite a lot of hard work there, actually recompressing everything, but he must have so many threads on it. I should have said at the beginning, the two tools you are going to need for this job. In his left hand there, Ruben has got a 6mm hex on a T-bar, and I love T-bars for jobs like this because, you know, there's no ratchets, there's nothing in there. They can take an awful lot of pressure, and you can hit them with hammers and you won't break anything. So yeah, there's a 6mm hex on a T-bar in there. I think that looks like it's running with an adapter, is it? No, it's a native one. And just an open-ended spanner. Right, Ruben, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to go and look at the other car and see roughly how far down it goes on the other car, because that looks about right to me. Right, it's getting a bit windier now. There's one more job that I nearly forgot. That really manky looking screw there that's got a lot of years of road dirt on it. That, I mean, in theory I could put a 10mm on it, but in practice I'm probably going to put the mould grips on it. We don't need to undo that, we need to loosen it so that we can just slide off that bracket, and that bracket holds a couple of the wires for the braking system. Just loosen that, slide it off, push it onto the other one, tighten it up. To be honest, it's probably going to be lots of WD-40 mould grips. I'm not even sure I can be bothered trying a 10mm on that, it looks half rounded. Anyway, I'll do that now. Here is Ruben, just with the nice torque wrench, putting the bottom drop link up to full torque so we don't get any nasty clunks when we go over bumps. I might just actually have to come and get some grown-up muscles in there, I'm not sure yet. A bit of push, Ruben?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to go and do it myself. Right, so we're now ready for the really annoying bit. I'm just going to make this a really popular video on YouTube, make it into a cat video, but Alex is not playing. We've got the new suspension over there by the cat. And we've got a big hole here with a brand new drop link. We switched to the silver one because it was easier to tighten up in the end. And up there are, yep, you can see up there, there are some holes. And we need to lift up this heavy thing and poke it through. And I'm going to be up top holding some bolts and trying to thread them up. And I did this on the other side and it's a right pain. So just to save all the swearing and not safe for work language, I'm going to switch off the video and I'll show you when I've got a couple of bolts in and finger tight. Okay, two quick thoughts before we start. If you look at the pattern of holes up here, these smaller holes here are for locating studs, and there's two of those. And then there's two bolt holes to the inboard of the car and one to the outboard. And what Ruben's done is he's set this up so it's roughly in the right place so that the hub holding on that end will be facing forward. Sorry, it's really, really windy here. Also, what we've done is, we put the hub up on an axle stand overnight just because the CV joint was looking a bit stretched, and now we're going to drop it off just for a couple of minutes so we've got maximum access. Right, I am now definitely going to switch off and do the sweary bit. Okay, so I won't pretend that was easy, but we had one of us down the bottom pushing it up and one of us shouting from the top, left a bit, right a bit, inboard, front and back and so on. That's just Ruben getting a trolley jack. And we've now got, as you can see, I'm just putting a bit of torque. We've got all three of these bolts in. I soaked the bolts, I'll give them a quick sprit of WD-40, and I was just super quick. And as soon as I got two finger tight, Ruben could let go of the weight of the thing underneath. So now I'm just, these should be 40 foot-pound of torque. No, 40 Newton meters, I'm old. But for the minute, I'll just make sure it's not going to fall out. And I'll torque them up later, because that's just an open the bonnet job. And I'll just give that a good, that's nice and tight. You can see the locating pegs have hit in. And that's a beautiful thing. Right, now what we need to do is I'm going to sit down under here. And we're now trying to make everything line up under here. You can see it's all in roughly the right places. It just needs a bit of jiggling. So we'll start off by jiggling this into place. And I'll switch off the video because I need both hands. Right, so we've got the whole hub up on a trolley jack, and we're just kind of jiggling it and tapping these. These are the brand new bolts, and we're just very gently, if it doesn't go with them, don't hit it too hard. And we're just kind of tapping them in and just trying to get it to line up. What will happen, Ruben, is you'll jiggle it and all of a sudden it will go and just suddenly slide in like it's always meant to be. So you probably don't need to even hit it with a hammer. I'm going to stop videoing this rather annoying process now so that I can help with the jiggling and the pushing in. And that's the first one gone straight through, so that is really good. Now it's going to pivot around that one while we try and get the bottom one in. And then all we've got to do then is jack it up, but you can see that top link up there was already coming quite close to matching up. So we need to jack it up and compress the spring a bit and what that through, and then I think we're pretty much done for the day. Right, now we're just trying to get this lined up. You can see we've put a lot of compression on it and jacked it up, and it's nearly there. I'm just going to put some big grown up muscles on it and push it and force it in, I think.
It won't fit.
Ruben says it actually just won't fit. I'm going to have a quick look at that and see what the hell we can do. That's a bit annoying. Might have to like put a pry bar behind it and just bend that bracket on the suspension or something. Anyway, I'll switch this off and have a look. Right, so what we had to do was, you see this is a bent bracket here. We jacked it, we let it jack down until the bolt was about here, and then we slid it across the top, and then we actually jacked it up with it already behind the bracket, and then it just lined up and popped in. So that's a handy hint for you there. This is actually looking really together. I think if we just chuck a spanner and a ratchet on these, they'll tighten up, and that'll tighten up, and we need to clip everything back into the... Oh no, is that gone? That, Ruben? That's wrapped the wrong way around the drop link.
I've been saying that all along, Dad. You haven't been listening to me.
Oh, we need to
take the whole drop link off.
We need to undo it all and start again. And we're done. I will just take this off here. That was just torquing up. Top link done up. Look how shiny that looks. 2 brand new bolts, 8.8, which is suspension spec, all done up to torque. Yep, all those are clipped in. Everything's fine. I will just go up top, and then it's just a question of wheel on and lots of happy driving. Just step back a minute for the beauty that is a Fiat Multipla. Yep, look at that. All the shiny stuff, everything there is done up to torque. And really now it's just a question of wheel on, jack down, and many more years of motoring, and hopefully the Multipla will be a little bit less wallowy. A couple of points: we use old Lidl sell these picnic blankets for about £7 each, and we just use them for this. The other thing is Ruben's now putting away the torque wrench. He will set it to 0 before he does, because that way the springs don't get worn out. Yeah, a good torque wrench is really kind of invaluable for a job like this. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed watching. Leave any comments in the section underneath, because we're not professional mechanics, and as you can tell we're just doing it at the side of the road, so if there's anything we could have done better, do let us know.